Thank you all for coming. It's very fun to do this again. And JT and I, just a bit of a background. We've been friends for about 20 some years, and we've been over the last maybe 5 or 6 years. We started doing some duo concerts together under the moniker Real Bulls. I don't know if anyone has seen us do this, but we just do kind of improvised duets. And so this year we thought it'd be fun to mix it up. Since last year, I think I, just said everything that I have to say as far as just the infinite wisdom that I'm, whatever. But we want to thank Lane and Kelly and everyone here again for making these beautiful drums and doing these fun kind of events, and to all of you for coming out. And this is the wonderful JT Bates, everyone. Please give him a round of applause. And JT and I have we've written solo drum scores to a couple of classic records of the era. If you've seen us before, we do the Def Leppard record Hysteria as a solo drum piece. I don't know, it's just sort of like a Takamitsu influence. So if you're hearing some contemporary, like if you're hearing like some Stockhausen or some contemporary classical percussion mid-century elements on top of that sort of classic Def Leppard pocket, don't be afraid to acknowledge it. So I'm basically saying, be like, oh, I hear that. You know what I mean? So, but today we're going to debut the classic Def Leppard record, Pyromania. Hysteria, it's got been there, done that type vibe. You were saying that because I said, do you want to play Hysteria again? And JT's like, come on, how many times can we play Pour Some Sugar on Me solo drums? So anyway, we don't have a cowbell, so we're not going to do the Rock of Ages intro. Also, we don't speak German. We're going to express a sort of tantric, mid-century contemporary classical exercise right now, where we're all going to be silent for a while. There's a transcription of this da-da-da that we have actually on a joint website where we transcribe classic solos, including the... I have a different interpretation of that. If you see mine written out, it's actually more... JT's is more gestural, because JT doesn't write music out like I do. But like JT's like, it's a gesture, and I said, no, it's not. It's a very technical space between the two. Right? It swings, because yours is always da-ta-ka. And mine's like da-da-eh, because it's like a fall. The whole thing is exactly. Any questions? So we're going to play a solo thing, and then we're going to take any questions you guys have. And thank you again, this lovely, strange drum shop, for having us, and the great Lane Pedersen and Kelly. You guys are so sweet, and the drums are really beautiful. I have a drum set. Not this one sounds amazing, but I have one of the 651 that they made me. It sounds so beautiful. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to do some playing. Thank you again. Okay, we did pour some sugar on me. You heard it. Sorry. It's just sometimes you fall back on things when you don't know what else to do. And that's a real part of sometimes improvising isn't pure. I know JT employs a lot of extended technique ideas as well, utilizing different, and you can expound on that too. For me, I typically, I have purposely tried to limit things. Sometimes when I see, like there's a good friend of both of ours, is a great drummer, Mark Giuliano, who was in town recently, and he's got like these really neat, cool little hi-hats and remote hi-hats and all these things where there are ways to create these sounds. It's like, yeah, you sit down at one of those kits and it's like, bam, it's just, you got a little bit closer to the source of something like Square Pusher Feed Me Weird Things or something, one of those records. There's possibilities there that if you don't have that, that's not going to happen. So sometimes I try to limit myself only because, for me personally, I want to be put in a position as an improviser to not necessarily delve into things that I know what it's going to be. And if you go to certain things, if I use a lot of different manipulations gear-wise, it's like I know that the sound is now changed, having nothing to do with what my hand is doing or what my touch is doing or something. That's not to say I'm a purist and think that that's like not cool, because it's anything musical is musical, and in the right hands it's brilliant. And I've messed with different things over the years, as JT has, but I do make conscious decisions to try to just, if it's called for, but then I play with these old toys I've been playing with forever since we've met, at least, and I've noticed over the years JT playing a lot of the same instruments he's played and whatever. But you're right, there is an experimentation going on, and that's the evolution of the drum set in creative music, I think, at work. But yeah, sometimes I like to think about just some of my heroes and the older school drummers and stuff, and they're just dealing with a sizzle cymbal and another ride cymbal, and you got a 4-piece kit and it's melodic and you tune it melodically, and you kind of make you work for different concepts. So that's a sort of a longer answer than necessary probably, but if something is needed for the composition, I'll think about things, and I've used different things to manipulate things, but a lot of times for me it's a touch-based, the order of the day is to use touch before anything and to try to make it happen. And that's why sometimes these toys, instead of like a Latin percussion jingly toy or something that obviously the decision has been made for you, the sound, yeah, and instead it's like, well, you find other ways of getting textures and things.
For me, that stuff takes a little bit of the discovery process away, which is a big part of this improvising for me. So if I'm going to continue to try to find more sounds in the same pieces, like over my life, as opposed to always getting something new and just get to know the things I have even better, and how many things they actually do, things I still have no idea.
Yeah. But I know both of us love certain traditions of using found percussion and using other things like the Tony Oxley tradition or Art Ensemble of Chicago, Don Moya, all these other things where you're using different gongs and things. But then I find myself being, sometimes, I've always done little manipulations and things, but then you go see someone like Bill Stewart play, and it's just a 4-piece kit with gigantic ride cymbals, and it's just swinging and incredible, and you're just like, hell yeah, Bill's not sweating it. He's just back there like, hit some drums and hit the cymbals. And you kind of put perspective on the whole thing. Like, I vacillate sometimes between like, oh yeah, I could do all that. I could throw this up and have a little cymbal stack here that does this. But then it's just like, man, dealing in the moment with these things and these, it keeps you rooted in some sort of tradition which is fun to be a part of. It's a deep thing to be a part of, and it's also a challenge, What are we doing? Is everyone cold enough yet? I'm freezing. Why don't we play? Should we play like 2 more minutes? And everybody, we want to thank you all for suffering through this with us. Thank you to Lane.
Yes.
Lane, you actually look colder than anyone out here. Are you okay, man?
Yeah.
I mean, you're like the punk rock icon, man.
Yeah.
I better not see you go inside after this. Exactly. You play inside.
I do, yeah.
Anyway, I want to thank JT for doing this with me this year, and thank everyone for coming out. JT, I really appreciate you
Thanks, buddy.
coming down and playing.
My pleasure.
The wonderful JT Bates. Okay, I didn't have gloves on at all. Yeah. You see that, man? Okay, babe. All right. All right, you. All right. You got it. Thank you very much.